Hi, how are you? This is John from Istanbul. Merhabalar, nasılsınız? Today I want to talk about taxes in Turkey. Turkey has a very unfair tax system. It collects over 70% of its revenue from indirect taxes from this list here. Turkey has a hard time collecting taxes directly from businesses because of weak tax laws. Also, with frequent tax amnesties, especially around elections, many businesses see no need to pay. Therefore, Turkey focuses on indirect ways to collect taxes. This is completely unfair for the poor and the middle class because they pay the same as the rich. Okay, let's look at the list that I made up here. Okay, so most taxes collected indirectly come from a tax called KDV, which is like a VAT tax, and also a special consumption tax, which is usually very high in Turkey. So number one here is car tax. Car tax is very high in Turkey. It's anywhere between 50 and 100%, and it's increasing all the time. Number two, the petrol and gas tax is very high. It's always going up all the time. I think it's around 65% nowadays. Number three, the alcohol tax, they're always increasing that too, and that varies. It depends. If you buy wine, it's a little lower, and if you buy beer, it's kind of in the middle, and hard liquor is usually a lot higher. So anywhere from 25 to 70% in taxes. For tobacco, they collect a lot of money from tobacco. That's one of their biggest sources of income indirectly. They just raised it recently again. But the funny thing is that if you compare the price of a pack of cigarettes in another country, it's definitely a lot higher in other countries. So in my opinion, in Turkey, the price of a pack of cigarettes is still relatively low. But the Turkish state definitely makes a lot of taxes from tobacco. Number five, natural gas. I think this is an unfair tax because they lump fees with it also. It's an unfair tax because it affects the poor and the middle class a lot. I mean, if you want to keep yourself warm during the winter, you have to pay the tax. If you want to breathe clean air, you have to pay the tax. I mean, you can't burn wood and coal from your apartment. So this is a completely unfair tax in my opinion, but they continue to raise the tax on that all the time. Okay, so number six is the stamp tax. The stamp tax is definitely a huge revenue source for the Turkish state. So what is the stamp tax? Well, it includes transactions in real estate. So for example, when you go buy a property, you're going to pay a transfer tax, a deed tax, and some other small taxes with it. So initially when you buy a property, the taxes are very high. It also includes notary taxes. And notary taxes are really high in Turkey. The last time I went to the notary, I just couldn't believe how many notary taxes I was actually paying. It also includes business contract taxes too. Number seven, bank and insurance taxes. So when you go to the bank and get a loan for a car or you just need cash, you're going to pay a huge tax on that loan. So for example, every month you will pay your principal, your interest, plus a huge tax. Also, when you get a loan in Turkey, you have to have insurance on that loan. So again, you are paying taxes. This is probably one of the reasons why the Turkish government is always trying to promote people to get credit, try to get loans, get credit, because they make a lot of taxes from it. Number eight, customs and import taxes are very high in Turkey. Every time you order something from abroad, for example, on AliExpress, the tax is very high. Also, anything imported in Turkey is taxed very high. Number nine, white goods, such as washing machine, dryer, refrigerator. You have to pay a huge tax on these goods. I mean, if you want to wash your clothes, you're going to have to pay a huge tax. Okay, these are nine sources I wrote down. There are many more. You can talk about the gambling tax, the telecommunications tax, and there are many other ones you can throw up here. Plus, they're adding many more on all the time. I think this tax system is completely unfair and needs to be completely redone. Okay, so if you like my video, give me a thumbs up.